do it like that.
I'm Mark Morford. I'm with Portland Mountain Rescue.
Tell me about your group. Who are you guys?
So Portland Mountain Rescue is a rescue unit that's trained to save lives in the backcountry. We focus on the really difficult technical rescues that involve ice or cliffs, Mount Hood, the more difficult terrain.
So what types of areas are you called into? Is it the gorge or just mostly Mount Hood? Or we hear a lot about you guys on Mount Hood.
So maybe half of our missions are up on Mount Hood, above tree line and snow and ice. And then the other half tend to be in areas where everybody goes hiking. So here in the gorge, there are lots of places where it's cliffy and people can get in trouble, get hurt, and they need technical assistance to be rescued.
Who are your volunteers? I imagine you have a little bit of everyone.
So Portland Mountain Rescuers come from all walks of life. We have doctors, nurses, engineers, lawyers, construction folks, from pretty much every vocation. The thing that's in common is all of our members are climbers and avid outdoors people.
Do you get paid for this, or everybody's a volunteer?
Our payment is the satisfaction of bringing people back safe. No, we're all volunteers, and the organization is supported entirely by donations.
Now, you don't just go out on a call on your own. There's a whole kind of protocol of how this works. So who lets you know there's an emergency that we need some help with?
Like all search and rescue units in Oregon, we report directly to the county sheriff. So when someone calls 911, I'm in trouble, I'm lost, I'm hurt, the sheriff determines what sort of resources are needed, and if it's a situation where there's going to be technical terrain, he calls us.
Are you available 24/7, or are you kind of on standby for anything all the time?
Yeah, we're all always on call. We have about 60 people that are qualified to be in the field, and when a call comes in, as many people as possible will respond to that call. So maybe 10 or a dozen folks would respond to a particular call.
So with all the calls you go on and all the rescues we've talked about in the news in the past and all those that will come up, what are some things that you wish you could sit down and tell people?
Wow. Well, first we want people to enjoy the outdoors, and we hope you're safe when you're doing it. But we also know that good trips go bad. And the big thing that's important for people to understand is how long it's going to take to get rescued, for us to get to you and bring you medical care and then bring you out. It takes a long time, 6-7 hours to get into people in many places where folks go into the backcountry. So the important thing is you got to take care of yourself after you've called for the rescue. We're not going to be there right away. The helicopter's not coming the moment you call 911. So call and then figure out how to take care of yourself. Stay warm and dry until we can get to you.
What are some of the mistakes that people make that gets them into trouble in the first place? Do you see some of the same things over and over again?
So I don't think there's any one thing that gets folks in trouble in the backcountry, and sometimes people ask us, well, why do you help those idiots? And it isn't usually an idiot in the backcountry. It's some simple thing that went wrong. Often you're hurt, and wow, when you get hurt, it can be pretty difficult to take care of yourself and get out. If you've ever thought about how difficult it would be for two people to carry their friend out 5 miles, pretty much an incredibly difficult feat to take on. So I don't know if there's any one thing. Probably the situation that is most common for us is somebody's lost. A lost skier on Mount Hood skiing out of bounds at Timberline. That's a pretty common scenario. And there we just ask folks, stay in bounds. There's a lot of great terrain up there. But if you're going to go out, you're going to go off country, cross country, we want you to know your route, have looked ahead as to what the conditions are, be prepared, and always have a backup plan when something goes wrong so that you can take care of yourself and self-rescue if you need to.
Is there anything people can do when they're out there in trouble to help you find them?
Wow, we love it when folks try to be found. The signal 3 is kind of key. If you're carrying a whistle, which we really encourage you to carry in the backcountry because they can be heard for so long, 3 loud blasts on a whistle, 3 really smoky fires about 50 feet apart, lots of smoke. If we see 3 columns of smoke, we know that's distress. 3 big red piles of plastic, if you've got it. Something that signals distress that way is ideal. If you're just out hiking though and you're lost, you think you're finding your way back, if there's any way for you to leave a trail, break sticks, make little arrows out of sticks on the ground, leave candy wrappers. It's the only time it's okay to leave your candy wrapper in the backcountry. Things that are clues. When you're above tree line and you're in snowy conditions, always walk on the snow so we can see your trail. Don't go off onto the rocks or into the dirt. We love being able to find your footprints and follow you.
If people want to read more, either on the internet or books or things that you think might help them, any specific suggestions on some good reading?
So there's so many great resources out there, and if you go to our website, pmru.org, you'll find links there to backcountry safety and other websites that'll give you advice in the backcountry. And of course, their library is full of literature on how to take care of yourself and how to have a great time in the backcountry.